Welcome to this micro presentation on how belonging and mattering apply to inclusion in higher education. So no doubt you'll have seen the research and data that is pretty conclusive in that if students feel like they belong and if they feel like they matter in their learning journey, they are far more likely to achieve their potential and be awarded grades that are fair and equitable. And they are more likely to report that they have enjoyed their experience and been allowed to flourish throughout their education. But where we sometimes get things a little bit wrong with inclusion is that we look at this concept, or we look at it as a concept of fitting in and being tolerated. Now, this leads to things like sort of a concept of multiculturalism and sort of colour aversion, sometimes referred to as colour blindness when it comes to race and ethnicity, and this kind of expectation that students of all diverse backgrounds will fit in to the culture that we already have. But again, the data shows us that that culture is not actually equitable and inclusive. So we're asking them to essentially, whether we make it explicit or it's sort of implicit, that they have to change parts of themselves to fit in. They have to leave authentic parts of their self, be it their culture, their disability, or whatever it might be, outside of the lecture hall and the environment of the university. This concept of inclusion, just as fitting in and being tolerated, can manifest as a focus on diversity. So diversity is absolutely necessary and a great thing. It's associated with feelings of inclusion, because if we can see people, particularly in roles of senior leadership, but in all different roles in the university setting, it helps us identify with them, and that can lead to feeling included. But of course, it doesn't necessarily mean that. If power structures and the oppressive culture remains the same, it doesn't matter what people look like, we can reproduce those feelings of not feeling included. So what will help us as academics, teachers, leaders, researchers in these areas is to focus on not this kind of woolly concept of inclusion, but rather what does it mean to be included? And to be included, we can focus on mattering and belonging. So mattering there, we'll come to that in just a second. If we focus on belonging, so this has become a popular kind of buzzword in equity, diversity and inclusivity kind of meetings and policies, etc. But what does it actually mean? If I feel like I belong somewhere, it means that I feel accepted and included. I feel connected to other people, particularly people who traditionally might have been a bit more removed from me through sort of power and position. So my lecturer, my course leader, and so forth. But if I can feel on my course that I'm part of something bigger, I'm part of a connected kind of team that includes my educators on this journey to have us all be successful on the course. That means a lot. That helps me feel like I belong. There's a certain amount of respect needed. So am I allowed to bring those other parts of myself into the lecture room? How is that facilitated? Is that the norm? My background, my culture, my class, my heritage, the different aspects of my kind of individuality and context. How comfortable am I made to feel that I can not just bring those in, but have them celebrated, and not celebrated in sort of a patronizing manner that kind of makes me feel different, a manner in which makes me feel normal. And we can go one step further. So belonging is absolutely something we want to facilitate and engender, but also this concept of mattering. So I may feel like I belong, that's really lovely, but if I wasn't here, if I missed a session, if I missed a week, would I be missed? Do I matter? Do I have a sense of purpose and a particular role in this team or group of students and peers? Is my specific contribution valued? Whether that's kind of informal, my style of communication, what I bring to a group, is it a particular skill set, and so on and so forth. Is there an element of me feeling depended on and appreciated? Because that will lead to me feeling like I matter. My presence absolutely matters. Now, these things together mattering and belonging will bring this sense of inclusion. And then just a few notes there, just to remember that inclusion should challenge assimilation, not support it. The objective is not to assimilate everybody into this same normative culture. It's to make normal the fact that we have differences that are all important and valued. So that's a little overview of inclusion from the perspective of mattering and belonging.